Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel, The Audible Review. Today, we're diving into a really big question, maybe one of the biggest. What if the story of Jesus, wasn't just about faith? What if there's actual, hard evidence behind it? We're looking at investigative journalist Lee Strobel's work, specifically The Case for Christ.
Yeah, and understanding Strobel himself is key here. You really have to get where he was coming from. He wasn't just a casual doubter. He was a committed atheist.
Yeah.
A legal editor for the Chicago Tribune, super skeptical.
Right, a proper journalist.
Exactly. So his goal wasn't spiritual at all initially. It was purely investigative, forensic almost. He basically took on the claims of Christianity like a cold case he wanted to debunk.
Using his journalism skills to find proof against it.
Precisely, to show that Jesus couldn't have lived, died, and risen again based on evidence.
Right.
So our mission here is to pull out the key insights, the evidence he actually uncovered on that journey.
Okay, so let's talk about that method, because that's what grabs you, especially if you're coming at this with some skepticism yourself. He wasn't just chatting with pastors.
Oh, definitely not. He went to the experts, PhDs, historians, medical examiners, manuscript specialists.
People who deal in facts and evidence.
Right. He applied really strict journalistic standards, needing multiple independent sources for claims. He looked at, say, medical details of crucifixion, how the New Testament documents were transmitted compared to other ancient texts.
And he looked outside the Bible, too, non-Christian sources.
Yes, absolutely. Crucial point. Confirming Jesus' existence historically, separate from Scripture.
So what was the first big takeaway from all that digging?
Well, it's kind of fascinating. The idea that faith means, switching off your brain, that started to crumble pretty fast under his investigation. He found that actually the evidence he was digging up built a surprisingly strong case, historical, philosophical,
right,
reasoned.
So faith and evidence could actually work together.
Yeah, that was a major finding for him. They weren't opposites. They could be allies.
Okay, but he must have gone in expecting to find huge holes, right? As a journalist, what was the big weak spot he thought he'd expose?
Yeah, that's really central to his whole book. He totally expected the eyewitness accounts, the Gospels, to just fail basic credibility tests.
Makes sense. Ancient documents, potential bias.
Exactly. But when he applied those journalistic standards rigorously, he found some compelling things, like the number of early sources, how close they were in time to the actual events. Compared to other biographies from antiquity, they held up remarkably well. Better in some cases.
Interesting. But couldn't they still just be making stuff up, even if the documents are early?
Good question. And that's where he dug into things like what scholars call the embarrassment factor.
The embarrassment factor? What's that?
It's about details the gospel writers included that actually made them, or the disciples, look bad.
Like what?
Well, Peter denying Jesus 3 times. Big one. The disciples abandoning Jesus. The fact that the first witnesses to the resurrection were women, whose testimony wasn't highly valued back then.
Okay, so why include that if you're trying to build a convincing story?
Exactly. Strobel's point. If you were inventing a heroic narrative, you'd leave out the cowardly bits, the socially awkward details. He realized that kind of embarrassing honesty is actually a hallmark of genuine historical reporting, not propaganda.
Right, that makes sense. So this whole process, this investigation, it wasn't just academic for him, was it? It started to affect him personally.
Oh, absolutely. That's maybe the most powerful part of the story. It leads to the internal journey. He discovered that real faith doesn't necessarily mean shutting down questions. Often it actually starts with the hard questions, with doubt.
So skepticism isn't the enemy.
Not at all. For Strobel, it was the starting line. Honest intellectual questioning was necessary. And his own transformation, from this really dug-in atheist to someone convinced by the evidence, that personal journey becomes, in a way, its own kind of evidence. It shows the power of the truth he felt he uncovered.
So wrapping this up, what's the big picture here for someone listening? What does Strobel's journey mean for us?
I think the main theme is that truth, real truth, doesn't shy away from investigation. It holds up.
Yeah. The search for facts and genuine belief aren't opposed. Intellectual honesty and spiritual openness can actually go hand in hand.
And the book itself, The Case for Christ, it really becomes an invitation, doesn't it? It doesn't matter where you start, believer, skeptic, just curious. Strobel's work suggests that reason and evidence can lead you forward.
So it poses a challenge, really.
It does. It asks, if you take the evidence seriously, can you honestly ignore where it might point? It's about intellectual integrity at the end of the day. Do like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such video.